Hey guys, Derek here. Welcome back to the channel. We are back to react to another episode of Euphoria. This is season 2, episode 6. It is called 1,000 Little Trees of Blood. So that's certainly a title. What happened last time on Euphoria? Last time, I feel like the best description could be just wild. It was insane. We had a little intervention family scene in the beginning, and then a lot of the rest of the episode was Rue like on the run from her family, like fleeing from the police, getting kicked out of multiple houses, stealing things, almost got trafficked by what's her face McGee, the drug lady. So that was all insane. Mix in Maddie finding out about Cassie and Nate, just absolutely wild across the board. And I think this episode will probably see Rue, she's hit rock bottom. The only way to go is up now. We can finally start rooting for her again as she attempts to get clean. Hopefully, maybe make some amends with people, but I don't know. Either way, I'm excited. I'm going to be watching this episode with headphones on because the last episode, freaking balls, man. I could not get that like full length uploaded to save my life. So if you're looking for the full length reaction for Euphoria episode 5, 2 times 5, you won't find it because I could not get it uploaded anywhere. I tried every website possible and for YouTube, it kept getting claimed for the audio of the episode. And I figured the best way to avoid that is by listening with earbuds, even though that makes it pretty hard to like sync things up on my end. You guys should be fine. It makes it a little difficult on my end to sync things up. And then it's also hard to tell how loud I'm talking. Like to the camera, how loud I'm talking when I have headphones in, so please be patient with that as well. But other than that, before we jump into this episode, please consider leaving a like on the video. That means a ton to me and it helps my channel out a lot. If you are new here or you find yourself coming back often, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified when I upload, especially if you want to see more reactions to Euphoria. And then if you are interested in the full uncut reaction to this episode, please consider supporting me on Patreon. I promise I will have this episode will actually get up. And then again, also if you want the next episode slightly early, that is also a Patreon exclusive perk as well. But other than that, let's jump into this. We're gonna see how this goes. I've never tried this before. I've never tried this before because syncing it up in the editing process is so weird when you don't have the sound from the computer as well. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully this episode is not a complete disaster in terms of the audio. So we'll find out. Jolly Rancher. What's the struggle here? Is she trying not to eat the Jolly Rancher? Because it is small and hard, like a pill? Is it like, or is it a placebo? Oh, she drooling. She drooling. Yo, that snot is a paid actor. Is she taking up eating Jolly Ranchers instead of pills? This is like, is this gonna be like when smokers always have like toothpicks or popsicles in their mouth to have that substitute? Jeez. She must be going through withdrawal hard.
She also grew up in the church. And say what you want about Christians. At least they believe in forgiveness.
Most of us hopefully do. Some are definitely less forgiving.
I'm sure most people would say the world would be a better place without me. I don't disagree.
I disagree, Rupert.
In fact, I've been trying to leave it for as long as I can remember.
I disagree. The world is a better place with you in it. That goes out to everyone else as well.
And even if I got clean today, no one would forget the trauma of me not being clean.
Yeah, that's true.
I really regret what I said to Ollie.
People will forgive, but they
Reducing
won't
someone's life
necessarily
to a moment.
forget.
An ugly moment.
Yeah.
It's actually what everyone does.
Yeah, that's a lot of people do.
It's what you would do to me
Not just
if you
cops.
didn't know me.
Yeah, that's kind of what we have done to her, if I'm being honest with myself. You know? I haven't been the most sympathetic towards Rupert recently.
Hello?
Ollie?
Yep. This is the one of the hardest parts, is probably making amends to those you've wronged.
I just wanted to call you and tell you that I'm sorry for what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And I really regret it. I never should have said that.
Rue,
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
listen to me. I forgive you.
Bless up. Ollie is a saint.
You do?
I do.
How do you know that I mean it?
I don't think he needs to know that
The
you mean
hour is
it.
certain to come. So we must forgive graciously.
Yeah, it's his forgiveness isn't coming from a place of expecting her to be truthful about it, right? Like, even if she's lying,
Thank you.
that doesn't change his actions. Ollie's the GOAT, man. Freaking love Ollie. That's gotta be like such a sense of relief.
Cat coughed your ass up.
It's gotta be such a relief to like feel like such a horrible person and want to dive deeper into that. To have someone who you would probably expect not to forgive you to then forgive you. That's gotta be an insane moment.
I can help.
Nah, you keep your stank, withdrawal, diarrhea ass on away from our food.
Savage. Savage.
It's okay to be angry at her.
Yeah.
Not sure that helps anyone.
I'm sure what helps most is being honest. Holding it in's not gonna do any good.
I'm fine. I am.
Gia, you are the farthest thing from fine. Yeah, if you have to justify it to yourself.
Now,
This demon.
after an 18-year dick swinging contest with his dad,
They left the piss on the
Nate had
floor.
finally won.
Yeah, people in my comments were trying to say that Nate wasn't trying to stand up to his dad or show dominance to his dad. But 18-year dick swinging contest sounds exactly like that.
Look, I never trusted her.
What? Why?
Because she seems like the kind of person who would fuck your boyfriend.
That's true, Kat. That's true. She is that exact type of person.
That's dark side of it.
Are you two ready to order?
No.
She's just on the phone. We'll speak a couple minutes.
We prefer customers not use phones at the tables.
Why? That's weird, but okay. But also, Kat's being super rude to not even acknowledge the waitress.
I have a brain disorder.
What?
What?
No, you don't. Get out of here. Shut up.
I think it's terminal.
You've been thinking a lot about our relationship because you have a terminal brain disorder? What is this terminal brain disorder called?
No, because you're gonna Google it and then read about it, and I'm just gonna see it on your face.
I feel like you're lying to me.
Yeah, I feel like this is such a bad lie. Yes. This isn't something you just casually bring up like that.
You think I would even lie about something that awful? Means there's a big problem in this relationship, which is like literally what I was trying to say in the beginning.
Okay.
And
Yeah, because
now I
she's
feel
a
like you're using
coward.
my skepticism as like a reason to break up with me.
She's a coward, and she doesn't want to say that she just isn't feeling it anymore.
No, that's besides the point because I think we need to break up.
Wow. Wow, I didn't see that one coming.
God, Kat sucks.
Bye.
What is wrong with her? Maybe she does have a brain disorder. Because she's the worst.
It's like about a group of girlfriends who sort of grow up and grow apart.
Damn, so it's kind of like a Stand By Me vibe.
Yeah. Will there be leeches involved in the play?
Cassie, use the bathroom.
No. Bro, what if she needed the bathroom for something? What if her stuff's in there?
Everyone thinks that I
Damn
was hooking
straight.
up with Nate when he and Maddie were still together, but that's not accurate. There was no
It was
crossover.
a matter of literal weeks, possibly.
Cassie, you're driving me nuts.
Her
It's
own
one thing
family
to do
is
what you
like
did, and it's
Cassie.
another thing to pretend you're
You're
all
dumb.
innocent and it's no big deal. Pointing out the principle.
What principle?
You
You're
don't fuck your best
stupid.
friend's boyfriend principle.
That is what I am trying to tell you, Mom. They weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. God!
Oh, dear. Cassie, you're so dumb.
Thing to do.
Someone calls your mom the
You have
C
to go
word.
so far as to choke her.
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
true.
didn't
That was
choke her.
unnecessary.
Mom, they dropped the charges.
You did, though.
I didn't
mean, real-
fucking choke her.
You did. Does he, like, truly believe that he didn't do anything?
I just want to die.
Well,
Why? Better get the spoons.
Is this why you ratted on Fesco?
It is. It is
Oh
indeed.
my god, that's why you did it?
No.
That- I don't fucking trust you.
No one does.
Because you fell in love with someone who spent
Rightfully.
years making fun of you. It's sad.
It is sad that you fell in love with a serial killer.
He's
You're
deeply
just a
flawed, and
Garbage person.
somehow, some way, we raised a child who's even more deeply flawed.
Yup. Facts, bruh. How you're garbage?
Rue's a good girl.
And I'm not?
No.
I didn't say you're not a good girl. Rue's had a very hard life.
Not harder than my life or Lexi's life. And if you weren't such a fucking
Death
loser with no self-respect, you'd
worse.
drop her because she treats you like shit.
Enough! Enough!
What? I can't say it to her, but you two can say it to me?
I never said you didn't have any self-respect.
You don't have to!
She
I can
doesn't.
fucking feel it!
Oh, she needs a fucking exorcism.
Facts, bruh. And she said mean things to Lexi, so I hate her. Don't ever say mean things to Lexi.
He did know there wasn't much of a market for homes built by a pedophile.
That's true. Has he only been a pedophile once, though?
Even
What does
though
that say?
technically he wasn't a pedophile, but it's not like you could argue that out loud.
Yeah, technically. Technically, he's not a pedophile. It only happened once, and it was on accident. Dang, Maddie, how does that fit perfectly? You're the same size as Minka Kelly? Oh no. That's a camera. They're gonna know what you did.
The idea that there was ever anyone in the world who would want to settle down and marry me was a complete shock to me.
Excuse me? You're Minka goddamn Kelly. Excuse me? Are these two gonna... Is that what's gonna happen? I am getting those vibes.
Got something.
Stand By Me does make you cry. It's a good movie, man. I love these two together. Only night you'll see. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, are they gonna sing? Stand by me. Yes. So darling, darling, stand by me. Stand by me. Oh, stand. Won't you stand? Stand by me.
If the sky that we look upon to tumble and fall,
and the mountain crumble to the sea. If you want to hear a really good cover of this song, look up Stand By Me by Need to Breathe. Freaking electric cover. It's so good. Yes, Fez, sing. Sing for me, you beautiful baby boy.
and
Darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Yo, these two need to kiss. Or hold hands, that's just as cute. Yo, Lexi deserves all the happiness in the world. Both of them do.
They already have their sights set on fucking Bedroom Ash.
So you are cooperating with the police?
I do not know if that is the right word, all right, but I'm helping them out.
Yeah, you're cooperating. They're so cute together. I love them with my entire heart. Oh my god. He's the Batman. What a serial killer.
What are you doing?
Don't worry, I'm not here to apologize.
Smile, you're on camera.
Can you imagine if I was sitting here with a gun?
You shouldn't have to imagine you're doing it right now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you do though. Speak of the truth.
I'm gonna need that disc now.
Okay, one thing that is kind of badass, even though I hate this guy's guts, it's kind of interesting / cool that he's just not even pretending to go along with her not knowing. He's still a sociopath though, and I hate his guts. Ooh, a little bit of Russian roulette right here. I mean, he can see which bullet is in the chamber, right?
Stop it. Stop.
Oh, he's not even...
Please, stop it,
I mean, this would still be traumatizing, but oh... This is probably scarier for her.
It's in my purse, it's in my purse, it's in my purse.
This is absolute insanity.
I was joking. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's no bullets in the gun.
You were joking? I mean, you literally emptied some bullets right in front of her. Are you not going to take those with you? You just leaving those bullets there? Brother, that's evidence. She could go to the police with this. Yep. Yeah, bring the box cutter just in case. Just in case. I'd say that's a fairly smart move.
I found out about you and my dad from this desk. He secretly records every encounter he has, and he's been doing it honestly,
years.
As long as I can remember.
That's what made him such a horrible person.
I thought I'd give it to you, and you can do with it as you please.
So there was a camera.
Yeah.
And you've seen it?
Yes, many times he's watched it.
Why are you giving this to me?
Because he's secretly still in love with you.
I came out here with a box cutter in my sleeve. In case there was a chance I might have to slit your throat.
He thinks that's cute. He's like, that's my girl. Oh, man.
Everything I ever said was true.
I don't think she cares, man. Unless she's secretly still in love with him. Why did she respond that way? Are they secretly both still in love with each other? We don't need that, Sailor Moon. That's not what we need in your life. Why is this happening? His allegiances are so confusing. She's just like moving out. What is, and her mom's just chill with this? Drive this truck off a cliff and kill you both. Honestly, I'm sick of both of you.
I ruined my entire life for you.
Yeah. Super bad mistake. I don't understand what makes him so alluring that she would ruin her entire life for him.
So you think you hit rock bottom?
I hope so. I hope to God that was rock bottom, because if there's any situation where she can go further down, I don't want to see that.
When you let someone down again and again, I think it's fair to lose a little faith.
True.
I mean, what do you think?
Let Rue be Rue. And shower that little one with love. She's been waiting on it.
That's some good advice. Gia has been kind of left by the wayside, probably, as their mom has dealt with all this stuff with Rue.
Night.
Again, it's sunlight outside. What do you mean, good night?
Well, I took her to the emergency room about 4 days ago, and the doctor gave her something to help with the withdrawal.
It was a Jolly Rancher. One singular Jolly Rancher, and it cost them $700.
No, don't. Please listen to me. I know my daughter. She is going to kill herself.
Maybe you should not take this call where they can hear you say these things.
Please don't do this, son. Don't do it, son. Please. Kill herself.
I feel like there's a better time to say those things. Maybe not say them so flippin' loud. Okay. Another episode of Euphoria down. A lot of the themes in this circled around Rue trying to get clean a little bit and make amends for the things that she's done. I don't fully know the significance of the Jolly Rancher. My initial guess is that it's like a substitute or a coping mechanism in a way. How, you know, chronic smokers, when they quit smoking, you'll often see them with like a toothpick or like a lollipop or something in their mouth, so that they, you know, that part of the addiction of having that in their mouth is kind of substituted by something that's not as bad. So my initial guess is that is what is going on with Rue and the Jolly Rancher, is she can put that in her mouth and suck on that instead of, you know, feeling like she needs to pop pills. So that's my initial guess. One moment that I really, really liked is her calling Ali and apologizing for the things that she said to him. One, because just I feel like that's probably weirdly the hardest part, is going to someone that you have wronged in some way, whether intentionally or unintentionally, and apologizing to them, admitting fault in your actions and seeking their forgiveness. Because at that point, you know, it's, you know, frightening, because then it's all on them and whether or not they choose to forgive you. And there's two ways to think about it, of being like, you know, once you've, you know, put forth that apology and you're sincere about it, then if they accept it or not, that's okay. You've done what you can do. But I've really enjoyed Ollie's response, because he forgives her, and she's like, what if I don't mean it? And he essentially responds in a way that says, like, whether or not you mean it or not is not the important thing for me. Like, it is important for him as a man of faith. He's a Muslim man. That, you know, his faith and Christian faith have a lot of overlapping qualities. So I can succinctly draw upon what he's talking about is the hour is soon to come. So surely, you know, I must forgive, or what, I forgot the exact, what was his exact line. He says, the hour is certain to come, so we must forgive graciously. And that is a verse taken directly from the Quran. So if you're curious about where that comes from, that's where that comes from. But what that speaks to me is, like, whether or not Ali truly believes that she is sorry for what she's done and is telling the truth in that situation, like in that moment, he doesn't care, right? Like, whether or not, even to some extent, even whether she asked for forgiveness or not, he is going to offer it, you know, free of charge, so to speak, because as a man of faith, you know, he is aware that the hour is sure to come, which I'm curious how that applies in the Quran, because they didn't believe that Jesus was part of the Trinity. So, like, when I initially hear that, it sounds as though it's saying, like, the hour is sure to come where, like, Jesus is going to come back, and, you know, the end of days, so to speak, will be here, and, you know, we must forgive graciously because we have been forgiven. But I'm curious as to what exactly that means in terms of the Muslim faith. Okay, so I'm just doing a little bit of research on what that could possibly mean in terms of, like, how it directly relates to the Muslim faith in difference to the Christian faith where I come from. And someone posted on Reddit a couple months back. So shout out to you/Cardistry Wolf. Bless up to you. It says, in the scene where she calls him to apologize and he accepts it, he says, because the hour is certain to come, so we must forgive graciously. Ali is Muslim. In Islam, they believe that the day of judgment, the hour that he references, that everyone owes someone a debt, that everyone who owes someone a debt will have to repay that debt in the equivalent of good deeds when they reach the afterlife. It can be material, but more often than not, it is emotional as well, i.e. you take the good deeds of someone who wronged you terribly. So like if someone wrongs you, you receive the good deeds that they would have gotten, is I guess what I'm reading from that. And so him forgiving her, what he's basically saying was, I'm forgiving you now because I don't want you to face such a thing in the afterlife. Small line, but incredible depth. Like he truly does forgive her. As a man of faith, he does not want her to face the consequences of owing him a debt of forgiveness in the afterlife. And so not only is he giving up his own rewards that he would be receiving in that sense, I believe, is he is giving them back to her, which is nice. I don't know. I just really liked that line. I think it stood out a lot. As a Christian myself, so a practicing Christian, so to speak, I feel like that term practicing is often only thrown about with like Catholics when someone's a practicing Catholic. But as a man of faith who currently tries to walk that line of faith, I really enjoyed that line. And I you know, you could see that from a couple different perspectives. I feel like it could apply to, again, obviously the Muslim faith because it's Ali who's saying it, but it could also apply to the Christian faith of like, we have, you know, as Christians, I have been forgiven for my transgressions, my sins. So like the onus is on me to, as someone who is trying to be more like Christ, the onus is on me to then forgive in turn. And when the end of days comes, when Christ returns to, you know, do his thing at the end of days, you know, holding on to that forgiveness, refusing to give that to someone else is not, it's actively trying not to be like Christ. So that's what I can take from that as a Christian, from a Christian perspective. And if hypothetically he was saying that as a Christian, I still think it's beautiful, him saying it as from a Muslim perspective as well. And I hope that, I hope that line encourages people to explore faith in general, whether that be exploring a Christian faith, a Muslim faith, Buddhism, whatever, you know, whatever. I hope that line encourages people to seek out that information. And if that's something that they find themselves desiring or relating to, I hope it brings you comfort. I also really enjoyed Ali's interactions with Gia in this episode, where he very much validates her in this episode, because as the sibling of someone who's been going through something in the episode, Gia is kind of put on the back burner in a sense. You know, she and Lexi somewhat have the same experience in a way, where, you know, their older sibling. Actually, I don't know if Lexi and Cassie are I don't know if they're the same age. They might be, but their sibling is like the prominent figure, so to speak, and they are kind of in the background, especially with all the things that are going on with Rue and her addiction and overdose, and how much focus after that her mom has had to put on her. That love and attention has kind of gone by the wayside for Gia, and her feelings and opinions haven't necessarily been treated as important. And so I loved Ali validating her, being like, it's okay for you to be angry at her, because like, as much as it is something that happened to her, it also happened to you. Like, she's literally the one that found her when she overdosed. You know, the emotional burden of all of this is not squarely on Rue. It's happened to her, it's happened to her mom, and she has a right to be upset at the person who is pretty much solely responsible for making that happen. And I liked that. I liked that a lot. And I liked that he told her mom that she needs to love Gia more. And it was great. I hope I hope their mom dates Ali, because that would just be wonderful. That would be so fantastic. Other things I really enjoyed in this episode, Lexi and Fez watching Stand By Me together, just having a cute little date together. I mean, I don't know if it's technically a date. They're maybe just hanging out, but then they held hands at the end, and it was like, oh, it's just beautiful. But watching the post-episode thing, you know, the preview for next episode, leads me to believe something's going to happen to Fez, because whatever drug dealer guy made an appearance, and the police, I guess, have Fez and Ashtray in their sights in terms of what happened to Mouse. And, you know, there's a line in the preview, but like, oh, I'll be there. So something tells me that he will not be at her play because something's going to happen. Hopefully nothing bad happens to him. I don't want that at all. That's no bueno. We want good things for Fez and Lexi only. They're the two best characters in the show, and I love them with all my heart. But let's dive into the worst characters in the show. Rue is no longer one of my least favorite characters. You know, I was a little hard on Rue for the things that she said to Ali when I felt a little called out when she was like, you know, we distill people down to their worst moments, and we judge their whole life on that. And what she said to Ali certainly was her worst moment, definitely, for sure. And I had been subconsciously and overtly upset at her since then. And so she's worked her way back up. Honestly, she's not skyrocketed back up, but she's making steady progress back to the top of characters I root for. Because as they've talked about extensively in the post-episode things, a lot of the themes of this show are empathy and having empathy for those who are struggling. And I, at certain points in this series, have not been completely empathetic towards Rue. There are a few characters I still very much am not empathetic towards at the moment, namely Nate, Cassie, and Catherine. Good Lord, I hate all of those people. My opinion of Maddie has gone up substantially. I still think she's really obnoxious and kind of annoying, and also not a good person. Like, Maddie's straight up not a good person. Bad things have been happening to Maddie recently, especially this episode. You know, I can feel empathetic towards what she went through this episode. I can also still not think she's a good person overall. But right now, she is not one of the characters that I'm hating on for this episode. The characters I'm hating on for this episode specifically the most are Kat, Cassie, and Nate. So let's talk about Kat first. Good God. So she doesn't want to date Ethan anymore, right? Like, she's not feeling the excitement. But she is such a coward. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen just a more cowardly thing than what she did to him in this episode. And it leads me to believe that, to a certain extent, I don't know if the writers knew what to do with her character. Same thing with McKay. Like, I think McKay was set up to be a prominent player in this show. You know, he was a main character. He got his own episode last season. And then this season he was in, 5 scenes total? And then kind of tossed off to the side. I think with McKay and Kat specifically, I think Sam Levinson just had no idea what to do with their characters. And he wanted certain things to happen for, you know, the main storyline of like Rue and, for some reason, Nate and Cassie, and all the other characters kind of got put on the back burner, and that especially affected Kat and McKay. And I've heard there was some behind the scenes drama regarding all this. I don't know how much of that is true, so I can't really speak to any of that, but specifically in this episode, Kat she doesn't know what she wants, but she's too much of a coward to just tell him that. I mean, she's in high school, so she's immature, but like still, like it would be so easy for her to be like, hey, I don't know what I want, or just break up with him and be like, I don't feel the same way anymore. You know, that would be so easy. And I think it would be something that, while it would hurt Ethan, he would understand. But in this case, she is literally lying to him, and it's not even like a convincing lie. Like, she knows it's not a convincing lie, but she's leaning so hard into it, trying to like gaslight him. Like, she's like, I'm dying, I'm terminally ill, and I just don't want you to suffer through that. You know, I don't want you to have to watch me die. And he's like, what? Like, are you lying to me right now? Like, you want me to break up with you, and so to do that, you're telling me that you're gonna die so that I'll break up with you? And then she's like, oh, I can't believe you would accuse me of lying. There's something seriously wrong. And he's like, okay, well, now you're just like, now you're trying to use that to get me to break up with you. Like, he's like, if you just want to break up with me, just say that. Like, this is why Ethan's the GOAT and Kat sucks. She's the worst. Like, even before they started this little conversation at this diner, right? Like, she's on the phone talking, not a big deal at a who I don't know why the waitress was like, we prefer you not to use your phone. I mean, maybe we prefer you not to be talking loud as hell on the phone. Like, that would upset some people, but like, in using your phone in general, not a big deal. But the fact that this waitress comes up to like see if they're ready to order, and Kat does not even acknowledge her. Like, doesn't look up and is like, oh, I'll just be 1 second, or like doesn't like put the phone down for a second to order. She just straight up continues her conversation while this lady is standing there, and it's like, yo, how much of a disrespectful bitch do you have to be? Like, Kat instantly. I mean, I haven't really ever been a big fan of Kat, if I'm honest, but this episode alone cranked her standings. I mean, she was not high anyway, but it, you know, of the favorite characters, and there's the basement dwellers, she was halfway in between. Now she's firmly a basement dweller. Like, other than Nate, she might now be my least favorite character. Like, her and Cassie are pretty close down there towards, I mean, they're not nearly on the same level as this serial killer, but like, still, like, I hate her. and Ethan rightfully is like, okay, well, purely based on all this, I think we should break up. And she's like, okay, bye. And it's like, bro, someone shoot her in the face, please. Like if anyone deserves to die in this season, it is Nate, Catherine, and Cassie. like please kill them. Just write them off the show with some horrible death, because their characters suck. But yeah, speaking of crappy characters, Cassie. What the frick? Like, the most obtuse, oblivious, like, not thinking straight character I've ever seen, where she just doesn't seem to get it. Like, she doesn't understand how what she's been doing is, one, a crappy thing. Like, the fact that she within weeks, one, she's fully aware that her and Nate are often off and on, right? Like, so the fact that they were technically broken up shouldn't mean much to her, considering she knows that, like, within a week or two they could easily, and most likely will, just get back together. So the fact that she's willingly sleeping with her best friend's ex just weeks after they broke up, and then claiming to be in love with him, is, one, asinine. But then two, while everyone else is looking at her being like, why would you do that? Like, that's a bad thing to do. You're a bad person. And she's trying to be like, trying to gaslight them all into thinking it's okay. And like, she doesn't understand why they think it's a bad thing. And it's just like, Cassie, like, there needs to be some serious changes to her character next season. Or I don't know. It's just like, how do you go about being that character? Like, Cassie's just so dumb, like so stupid that I don't understand why she's willing to risk it all for this serial killer anyway. But two, that when everyone else in her life is straight up being like, you're dumb, like pull your head out of the sand, she's like, they were on a brick, like classic Friends type stuff. Again, Friends is not a funny show, it's a bad show, it sucks. If you enjoy Friends, you suck as well. But she's straight up like, they were on a break. And it's like, that doesn't justify anything. And again, like what Lexi says, this dude has been horrible to you. Like, not just like, oh, classic, like somewhat bullying, like, oh, making fun of someone for normal stuff. Like, this dude, like, what some of Cassie's biggest trauma in her life so far has been the sharing and distributing and all in the conversation surrounding her sexual history, right? Like, the people sharing her sex tape and calling her a whore and actively trying to use her for sex because they believe that she'll give it to them based on her prior history. Like, arguably the biggest, most traumatic things, other than her dad leaving, the most traumatic things that have happened in her life. Nate has not only encouraged that, like, making fun of her, but he's probably made fun of her to her face. He's actively shared her sex tapes with people. And Lexi makes a great point where she's like, this dude has always been awful to you. And now you're trying to say that you're in love with him? Like, what? Like, it's insanity. So, like, specifically, Cassie's motivations are insanity. Like, I don't get it. Like, why? I don't understand why the writers would think that her motivations are even remotely believable. Because even in this heightened, overdramatic universe, this would never happen. Nate's motivations are a little more understanding, as they explained in this episode, where, at least they explained in the after episode, where he feels damaged by his father's oppression or whatever, his father's impact on his life. He feels has made him a broken person, and now that his dad is gone, he can be free and people will love him, and he thinks his mom is gonna love him now that his dad is gone, and his mom is like, no, you're worse than your dad ever was. and it's just breaking his mind. And so the only person right now that is showing him any sort of love is Cassie. So he goes back to her at the end of the episode. And so that is like the only, between that whole situation, that's the only part that even remotely makes sense, is that he's going to seek out the love that, he hasn't been getting. And I guess Cassie's seeking out love as well, but like, it's blatantly obvious that he doesn't actually love her. And it's just, I hate their whole storyline, honestly. Like, the entirety of the Cassie and Nate storyline is infuriating, and I think it should have been scrapped for something more interesting, if we're being honest. But it is what it is. Is that how the episode ended too? I don't remember. Oh no, the episode ended with Rue not getting into rehab. So whatever rehab facility, I assume, denied her. And her mom answered the phone talking about that and was talking super loud. Hopefully those kids were asleep already at 3 p.m. That's weirdly to nitpick. Like, the way that I nitpicked the snow in Heartstopper, to nitpick this freaking they're like, oh, can I sleep in your room? Like, good night. And it's like bright sunlight outside the window. Like, what? You're trying to believe me that you're trying to tell me that that is even remotely close to nighttime? Like, no. Even if it's like summertime, if it's like summertime and it's like 8 p.m. maybe, it's still way darker than that. Like, that's crazy. That is bright light outside, and they're like, oh yeah, going to bed now. And the mom is answering a phone call from a place that is probably not open. I don't know. That doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's just something that I subtly nitpick on. Again, though, this episode was good. Things are presumably starting to heat up. We got Lexi's play, I think, next week. And we got some possible serious stuff going down with Fez. So hopefully everything goes good with that. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comments below. Are you enjoying this season so far? What do you think of Nate and Cassie's storyline? If you enjoyed my reaction, please leave a like on the video. It means a ton to me. Helps my channel out a lot. If you're new here or you find yourself coming back often, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified when I upload. And then if you want to support me even further, consider checking out my Patreon. That is linked in the description. I post full uncuts for everything I watch over there. And you can get select episodes of shows early for non-live shows as well. The earliness varies depending on how busy my real life is, whether it could be 15 minutes early, could be an hour early, could be 2 days early. Who knows? But, you know, we find out when it happens. So that may be too unpredictable for your liking, and that's fine. But if you are so inclined, your support over there would mean the world. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.